And so, yeah, I'm back. Peace, y'all. This is Bel-Ami. And this is how stuff happens, right? This is how stuff happens. It's all fitting for a day like today. But I'll run back through that. I did the whole intro without any sound. Go figure. Peace, y'all. Welcome to the 6 Degrees podcast. My name is Bel-Ami. And here at 6 Degrees, instead of separation, we choose to highlight or explore the ties that bind and highlight those things that keep us connected. Today's special guest, we got my brother, Ikechi Ojore. Such a fitting person to start this podcast off with. So if you don't know anything about him, stay tuned to learn more and find out how you and how we are connected. Something like that. Go ahead and take the time to follow, like, subscribe, and share on all your platforms. And without any further ado, let's get into it. First thing I like to ask on here is, what's your temperature like? You know what I'm saying? I think there's a temperature gauge to everybody's day, your week, and you could jump in the chat. Let me know what your temperature is. My temperature today is like, man, I've got like a wide range here. I'm like going from 68 all the way up to like 102. And clearly, I can't ignore the happenings of today in DC. And I think it's fitting that we actually start the podcast off with a day like that. There's certain things that you just can't ignore. And no matter what you have planned, there's always going to be something extra thrown in there. And so that's why my temperature is fluctuating, because I was cool at first, but then I got heated and then I got cool again. But right now, I don't know, it's fluctuating. So that's my temperature for the day. One more time, I want to remind you, as we go throughout the show, drop your comments in the chat. I'm going to do a question and answer portion a little bit later where you can ask Ikechi anything that you want. He'll answer all the questions. I already talked to him yesterday about this. He said nothing's off limits. So I want you to do your best to choke him up a bit or keep him tongue tied. And I see he's waiting in the back room. But anyway, we're going to get right into it. Our guest for today, the one and only, my brother from another mother, Ikechi Ojore. Welcome, brother.
Good afternoon and good night.
What's going on? You with good night already.
I mean, I got to move some stuff up and do some things. But
yeah. Man, nothing much, bro. I'm glad you're here.
For sure.
I'm glad you're here. What's your temperature like today?
Like you, man, it's a little bit all over the place, man. It started off good, and then it was like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
Right, interesting to say the least, bro.
But yeah, it's crazy, man. The world is crazy. You say I want to say some things, but at this current moment, I'm just gonna be quiet and talk to you. That's what
what. And you know what's interesting, man. I think it's really cool that you take that stance, because I think far too often, like, we're just baited into having an opinion. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Before we've had a chance to adequately digest everything that's happening, or everything that's already happened. You know what I'm saying? And in a quest to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, and appear socially engaged, we have to form an opinion, oftentimes very strong ones that we're not willing to stick with a lot of times. So
I like to see the whole thing play out before responding to something. So this is it's a day, but hey, we have one black man that I just made him black, but we elected the first black senator in the state of Georgia today. So I can tell I'm excited about that. How about that?
Absolutely, man. Shouts out to Morehouse. You know how we do over there. We produce leaders. That's just what it is.
I was gonna give your whole, who. Don't worry about it. Just keep going.
Cool. Well, look, man, I don't want to spend too much time on that. We'll definitely touch on that later. As I think, I'd be remiss if we didn't really give that some attention. but I also don't want to take away from the fact that, you know, I started this podcast because, um, you know, I just felt that I have a lot to say, you know, and I have a lot to say. I typically say it through my music. Um, but you know, it doesn't always translate.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have to use other forms and other mediums to get across what we choose to get across. And as a person who I've learned tremendously from, I look at you as a big brother, as a mentor, as just like, bruh, like there's so many things. And, you know, following kind of in your footsteps, yo, if you have talents, use them, you know, and if you don't, use them to figure out if you got them. You dig? So,
Yeah.
you know, in the spirit of that, man, I'm starting this podcast just to get out my thoughts and concerns and just, you know, engage with people in a different way, man, because it doesn't always work the same way, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
with that said, man, let's just get into this, man.
Let's go.
Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, I do remember how you.
Talk to me.
You want the whole story? I remember you coming to a concert that I was performing at. It was a concert for us, but it was a jam session afterwards. So it was like, hey, we play, and then whoever wants to get on the stage comes up and plays. And I remember you having this very tight jacket on, like your jacket was very medium, and you came on stage, and I guess you had to get your nerves up because you like slung your dreadlocks back and everything. It was like, you know, release, and then you got up and sang a few words, man. I thought it was pretty. I love the tone of your voice, um, and maybe a few times of seeing you around and in the music circle of the church that we were at. Um, I was like, yeah. So when you gonna do your album? You know, you were like, let's do it, and I was like, all right, let's go. Like, don't threaten me with a good time. Let's
Right.
go. So yeah.
Yeah, man, I remember that day distinctly, and I was with my boy Glenn CJ. I know he was tuned in a little bit earlier, but I forget the venue it was at, somewhere in Houston.
It was off of Washington. It was like
It was off of
it
Washington.
ain't off Washington no
Yeah,
more.
it
Yeah,
was the Influence Streams
yeah,
show.
yeah,
And that was my first time hearing Neon Collars. Hence the name of this episode, Neon Collars.
yeah.
Um, Here I like to name all my episodes after my initial interaction with the people who are guesting on my show. And so that's where we met, a Neon Collars show. And you know, as a couple people have already dropped in my DMs, they was like, uh, you interviewing Neon Collars? And I was like, no, don't get it twisted. You know, the people who know, they know, you know what I'm saying? And they probably were expecting a reunion show, which,
Well,
you know, I won't threaten the people with.
quiet as it's kept, man. It wasn't that long ago. Fran hit us up about doing a reunion.
Come on, man. Listen, make that
But
happen.
I mean, it happened, but we like my mom was in the hospital that day. I couldn't go.
Mhm.
You know, it was a couple people that live out of state, so it's kind of like it happened, but not to the grandiose, you know, like how it could happen, you know.
Listen, bro, that one night, I promise you, that one encounter changed my life.
Oh wow.
Changed my life. Changed my life. So I see it fitting that I start this off with you because 6 Degrees Podcast is all about connecting the dots, you know.
Yeah.
We're connected through so many different people, and I'm sure we even have connections that we're unaware of. And so I definitely want to take some time to highlight that, and we'll get to that eventually.
Oh,
But the people want to know more about you, bro. They want to know about you. And
what you want me to tell you?
listen, you're one of the most well-rounded people that I know. You
Man,
are a musician, a photographer, a barber, an author, a world traveler, a teacher, a visual artist. Did I miss anything?
maybe. I mean, you know, I don't like to think about myself as being things. Um, it's just that like God blessed us with so many abilities, and that you should use them all to live in your purpose.
Yeah.
Um, for instance, you know, like you and I, we both do photography and videography. but I didn't start doing videography until I saw you do videography. And, you know, it was like, I saw you do it and I was like, if he could do it, I mean, like, I
Wow.
can do that too. And not really in that, you know, that
No, I
same
know what you mean.
regard,
I
but
definitely.
it was you see people doing things and then you realize like how capable of something you are to doing it. Um, and from there you just grow that thing, you know. I never thought about being an author, but I've always been writing stuff.
Mm.
I've never thought about really being I never thought about being a bass player, to be honest with you. In college I fought
That's
myself.
right, because I met you on drums.
Yeah, you know, I stuck. I really had it in my mind that I could only master one thing, and I think that's the way that the world tells you can only, you know, master one thing, one object, one job, whatever it is. And I stuck to that.
Mm.
And it's crazy because the moment I got on bass, nobody allowed me to play bass anymore. You know, like you one of them. You were one of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Like I went to school for drums. Like this is what I went to school for. This is what I wanted to be the best at. I marched in the band. I played for all of these artists. And then the moment I touched another instrument, nobody let me go back to the thing that met me on. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I guess y'all want me to get better at this thing.
Yo, that leads me right into my next question too. You know, what was your earliest musical memory?
Oh man,
You talked about your was your first instrument drums?
no, it
What
wasn't.
was your first instrument?
My first instrument was piano. Uh,
Ah,
my first instrument was piano, and my first musical memory was singing to my singing to my godfather, who was the choir director at my church. I was trying to convince him he should sing this song that I was making up
ah,
as
that you,
as I
you was
sung it to
making it
him.
up.
Yeah,
So you freestyle basically.
I was freestyling. I wanted him to, you know, like, hey, y'all should sing this song that I'm making up right now. When I was like 5.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So was that your earliest musical memory?
Yeah, man, I believe so. Or if before that it was, my mom used to have this stereo, and she used to, like, I guess, put me to sleep listening to music.
Mm.
And what's his name? Dude sung all night long.
Lionel.
Lionel Richie, like, you know,
All night long.
like used to play it to death. So like now Lionel Richie and Luther Vandross, like I can remember those like ingrained in my
Mm.
head, never too much. And Lionel Richie all night
Yep.
long, ingrained in my head. And from there, you know, it was like, I guess I'm supposed to be doing this.
I think most musicians, I think really all people probably have a song that they remember was just always played
Yeah.
in their house, you know. And for me, it was Sade's first album. It was just the whole thing. My mom, I remember she had it on a cassette tape, and it had a red label, and it had the line. You know, you could write the lines
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
lines. It was just white in that. Yeah, and she played that thing
to death,
to death, bruh, to death, to death.
man. Yeah, yeah. I grew up in a very artistic family. I don't know if you can see this. I only find it fitting that I'm at my mom's house. Like Neon College
Mm,
used to rehearse like at my mom's house. So
wow.
you know, but you
Shout
know,
out
like,
to mamas.
yeah, like straight up.
Listen, if you love your mama, put a heart in the chat. If you love your mama.
Yeah, they impart, you know, things to make us better, but they don't know that those things that make us better like make us us. You
Mhm.
know.
Facts. So of all these things that you do, these memories that you have, I mean, you're multifaceted. What are you most proud of?
I honestly, it hasn't happened yet.
Mm,
Like, I mean, it's even funnier. Like people say that you've done things, you know, that you've accomplished stuff, and I'm pretty sure your answer is I ain't did nothing yet.
facts, bro.
You know, like that's how I feel about it. I mean, like, you know, I wonder if we ask Obama like what was his greatest accomplishment. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna tell you like becoming president was his greatest accomplishment. Um, but I mean, personally, it just hasn't happened yet. Maybe I'm too hard on myself. I mean, I see the things that I've done, and I just look at it like, man, that was kind of an accident. I didn't really, I didn't really go after it. I ain't trying to do that. I
Yeah.
mean, literally everything that I accidentally started playing bass. I broke my wrist.
Really?
Broke my wrist in a car accident.
Your left wrist?
I broke my right wrist in a car accident,
Uh,
and I couldn't play drums anymore.
ah.
So I started like playing bass. I had a bass in the corner. I started playing it, and I took a couple lessons, and y'all wouldn't let me play drums no more. So
What's so interesting about that story is, and it's like you said, right? It piggybacking off of your greatest accomplishment hasn't happened yet. I find it so fascinating, and I find this a lot with people who are really high achievers, highly motivated people, that there's always a new thing to achieve, right? You never stop setting goals, and I think that's what gets you to the level where people are like, "Wow," you know what I mean?
yeah,
And so with that, like thinking about all the different things, I always say today is only for tomorrow, you know. So you broke your wrist, man. That bass was gonna be in the corner when you realized I can't play these, or I can't use these sticks the same way I used to. You know
right.
what I'm saying? So I always think back, like, man, who put the bass in the corner? That's what I want to know. You know what I'm saying? Who put it there?
That
Why
was
did they put
that
it?
was me too. Like I always had that. I always had to have instruments around,
Yeah.
But like, did I need to play it? Like, nah.
Mm,
But
mm.
but yeah, I mean, it's case in point. Like during the pandemic or during the lockdown, like I had a plastic trumpet in my house that I haven't played since I was a teacher. It's like, why? What better time than now to start playing your plastic trumpet?
Yo, trumpet was my first instrument.
That was my second. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's dope, man. So tell me this, what lessons, and we've talked about, just reaching for new goals, higher heights, but what lessons that you've learned from music help you in these other areas that you choose to pursue?
Um, my band director in college would always say, you need to be where you're supposed to be on time. You need to be prepared, and you need to be ready to. And I'm summarizing this. If anybody from TSU is here with me, please forgive me. But and you would need to be able to and ready to perform at a high level at any moment in time.
Mm,
You know, you knew me as a drummer. And that's what you knew me as a drummer. But like the moment that I said that I play bass, I better play bass on the same level as I said that I played
mm,
drums.
mm.
And if you don't, then don't say you're a drummer. Or don't say you're a bass player.
Yeah.
Um, I meet people all the time and they say, "Oh yeah, you play keys," and I'm like, I would never say I play keys. Like I would never, knowing the many keyboard players, the amazing keyboard players that I play with, like I could never say that I play keys
Though
like them.
though I've seen it. Let's just talk for a second, and you might remember this.
Okay.
You remember that gig where you played bass and keys at the same time?
Yeah. With no pedal. With no pedal.
With no pedal and a whack sound system.
Man, look, you got to make it work how you
Was
make
it
it.
was that a baby shower or a
Yeah, it
baby
was
shower
somebody.
or something?
Yeah, it was far, and like the keyboard player got arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got arrested on the way there. We had to
yeah,
put the
yeah,
whole.
yeah. So I mean, it's again, it's like, all right, well, I can still do, I know how to section off things. Like, all right, this is what I need to do, and that's what I need. Cool, let's make it work. Like it again, it's not an accomplishment. It's just like I know. Um, I've always been like not a follower, but a role player.
Mm.
Like in basketball, I was never the lead guy. I was never the top scorer, but I was a great role player. So
You
it
was
was
getting
like,
rebounds.
I mean, yeah. But if you get enough rebounds, it helps the team.
Thanks.
Like the team, LeBron ain't winning championships without the rest of the squad. I was never the LeBron of no instrument that I played. It was never the LeBron. But like LeBrons make other people better.
Mm.
So if you get enough you know, if you get the Justins in the room that make you play better and make you realize that you're a leader and make you realize that, you know, you can enhance people, and you can influence people to do better and do bigger and be better overall, you know.
Yeah.
Like those are the musicians that I look up to, not the ones that were amazing, but the ones who could make you better.
Mm, mm. That's really important too, because I think we often look at and marvel at those people who are amazing, but you know what, we have to stop and ask ourselves, you know, what is it that's making us connected to that person or making us feel drawn to that? Is that they're just performing at a high level and we just are in amazement, or is it something there that we need to, you know, to start scratching from ourselves? You know, they've, I think, you know, when someone has achieved that level, I think it should, if anything else, just show you that when you find your thing, you can be great.
You could definitely be great,
You know,
man.
you can be great as well. So who have you? You were talking about inspiring people, right?
Mhm.
Have you been able to see any of the fruits of, you know, your efforts, or uh, actually come to life? You know, I know you taught for a long time, and
Yeah,
you know, as a teacher, you know, you always have a couple students who you're like, man, I wonder what's going on with this, or I wonder where they're at, or you know, and you taught older kids than I did.
yeah,
So have you been able to get any feedback or see your impact on them directly?
yeah, man. I actually I have a student, Marwan, and Marwan is a bass player. He actually goes to the high school for visual and performing arts here.
Mm,
And Marwan in middle school, in seventh grade, was just like he was. I could see, you know, that caliber in him. Marwan, um, Matthias. It was a couple students, and if they watching right now, they're gonna be upset that I didn't say their names.
mm,
But it was one kid in particular that like he keyboard player killing. Like I mean, like he sound like some grown ups right now, but
yeah.
he's in high school. But Marwan, because I'm a bass player, is he's won so many awards as like the jazz student of the year, and
Ah, he's
but I used to cuss him out and tell him that if he wasn't famous, one day I was gonna come back and find him. You know, I was like, if you don't become the best bass player I know, I'm coming for you. You know, like I'm coming to beat you up.
isn't it amazing what sticks
You know, I mean,
and what
and and
motivates?
and of course I was joking, man. I love that group of kids that I was teaching. Jordan is his name, the keyboard player.
Mm,
But like to see them grow, man. I mean, like I had them in middle school in 2015, 16, maybe
wow.
15, 16. And like now they either like in their last year of school, of high school, or they're in like college, and they are man, they are playing.
Yeah, yeah.
They are I mean like on like they can go on tour with us playing, you know, like,
Wow,
like that kind of thing, you know.
wow.
And but I tried to instill that in them, like, yo, it's up to you, you know, like it, I can I am who I am already. You know, it's you want to play like this, you got to play. Like that's all it is.
Yo,
You know?
could Dre jumped in the chat and he asked the question. He said, "Is the keys player Jordan Bush?"
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jordan
Genius.
Bush, killing, killing
Clearly,
keyboard player.
he's already getting his name out there.
You see, like I mean, Jordan was one of them kids that skipped school to go play a gig. You know,
Wow.
I don't understand why you skip school, but you out at 4 o'clock. He gonna show up at the gig at 7. Like it's like he had to share the music. He was like, but
Wow.
yeah, killing keyboard player.
That's funny. Yo, so we're gonna pivot a bit
All right.
because I still want to give some time for questions to be answered, and just remind people one more time, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow Ike everywhere at Ikechi Ojore. Just posted it down there so you can see it, and be sure to follow the podcast at 6D Podcast on all your social media. Um, so there was something that I was going through your IG, and we haven't even talked about the author side of you yet.
Come on, let's go.
But that's where it shines through. That's where it shines through. And so we have a little segment here called there's a song for that.
Okay.
And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you a series of images, and I want you to give me a song for that. It could be for the moment, or what you were feeling in this moment, or
This
just
this might suck because I don't remember names of songs, but let's go.
give me the lyrics, and we'll look up the lyrics later. And
All
all of this is going to be added to the 6 Degrees playlist on Spotify, and we'll do this every time we have a guest. So here we go. And this was inspired by you, brother, by the way, just so you know.
this should be exciting.
It
Let's
was
see what happens.
inspired by this right here. This right here. Playlists are a love language.
It's the truth.
Playlists are a love language.
Man, you know how you like when you were dating your wife and y'all sent songs back and forth to each other?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's what it's about. Like rather than having to say something, sometimes like the words you can't come up with the words, and there's an artist that got it.
Yeah. Cool. All right, here we go. So that's one. So we're gonna get rid of this. And listen, y'all bear with me because this is the initial 6 Degrees podcast. So it might be a little bit of some hiccups here and there. But we're gonna get it together. Sharing my screen. Here is your first picture. Actually, it's gonna be another tweet. This one right here.
Let's see what this say.
If she don't drink communion wine, mimosas, and Hennessy on the rocks, all on first Sunday. Hold on. If she drinks, I'm sorry. I'm about to say if she don't, I can't read. If she drinks communion wine, mimosas, and Hennessy on the rocks, all on first Sunday, she's my type. What's the song for this one?
Oh man, bust windows out the car.
Bust the windows. All right. That's who's that? Jasmine Sullivan.
Yeah, Jasmine Sullivan.
Jasmine. All right.
That was the first thing that came to mind when it came up.
What made you think about that?
After she drank the mimosas and the communion wine and the Hennessy, it's gonna be a problem.
All right, here we go. Here's the next one.
All right.
All right. See it?
Okay. What's my song for this?
Talk about the picture first.
I was in Paris between tours with Brian McKnight, and it was I guess I just took a tour of the Eiffel Tower, and the day was ugly. It was like it was not what you want it to be as you go to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
But at night when they lit it up, this is what it looked like for the rest of the night. So all of the lights in Paris just made the night kind of dope. So I got this kind
beautiful
of
picture.
shot. Huh?
It's a beautiful photo.
Look, if this could be me every day of the week, this probably would be me.
Facts, bro. I'm sure a lot of people would love to be that every day of the week.
Right.
So, all right. What's the song for this one?
Can You Stand the Rain?
Can You Stand? By who? Which version? New Edition version?
New Edition.
Okay.
New Edition.
There's multiple, you know what I'm saying?
Or the acapella Boys to Men might work better.
Acapella Boys to Men. All right.
But yeah, like that whole trip, it rained the whole trip. So imagine going to Paris and being this, like this land of enchantment, and every day it rained, like every day. And for it was an ugly day, but like you still see like the beauty in the ugly days.
And you made the best of it, bro.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do?
You made the best of it. All right, you ready for the next photo?
Yeah, come on.
All right, the boy got a groove now. Okay, I see. What about this one right here? Bam. You meet someone, and within minutes, you realize you don't want to know them anymore.
Uh, what's a toxic song? Um, yeah, dude. You just really threw me off. I was ready to talk about some love. Like, oh yeah, this. Nah. Too. I would say, oh, man.
You want to come back to this one?
Yeah. Let's come back.
All right, let's come back to this one. We'll come back to this one. I want y'all to think. If you're in the chat, jump in the chat. Let me know what song you have for this one. What's the song for this one? You ever meet someone and within minutes you realize you don't want to know them anymore? What's the song for that? Somebody drop it in the chat. If we find the perfect song, I'll post it up here. All right, here's the next one. Here's the next one. Here's the next one. And this one is one of my favorites. All right. Bam.
Amir, let me borrow your shirt.
Yo, tell the people what this is about. Tell the people what's going on here.
I believe I was about to take a solo, and then you took my solo and made a song from it.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. This space is like, yo, you just took my solo. Like, now what am I gonna do when you tell me to solo? That's what that face is. Like,
make it happen. That's what you did. And
yeah.
it was Plead.
Yeah. We did like a remix version of Plead while we were in Virginia.
Yeah. That was fun. Shouts out to Alex for having us. Alex is gonna be on the show in a couple of weeks. One of the people who's just amazing people who, you know what I'm saying, that you've connected me to, and I've just been able to deepen that bond with him. Great young brother. But so give me the song for this one.
The song that comes to mind for whatever reason is Yesterday by
which version?
The Beatles.
My favorite.
Yeah, maybe it's the black and white that kind of gives me that nostalgia, but yeah.
Yeah, look at that boy. That boy was swole too. Look at him.
Man, don't do that. I think we had just beat Alex, Darren, and
in basketball. I got the video for that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely put that on here before this is over with. I gotta put that video up. We
the old guy
Darren
and Denzel. Yeah, the old guys beat the young dudes.
they should have had all the energy. It was hot though that day.
It was Virginia hot. It wasn't Texas hot.
You're right. That's a different kind of heat. All right, here we go. Last one. And also, if you're in the chat, go ahead and get your questions ready. We're about to do the Q&A after this. If you have any questions you want to ask, or me, just pop in there. If you have anything that you want to say or share, you can do that as well. What I'm about to do now is paste the invite code in the chat. So if you would like to jump in and just give us your thoughts on today or anything that's happened so far in this episode, you can click that link, and that link will pop you right into the chat, and we'll pull you on. You can ask him the question live. But you can also type it in the chat if you prefer to do that as well. But if we can get some people to come on live, that'd be amazing. All right, here we go. Last one for There's a Song for That. And this one is one we didn't explore too much, but I definitely want to make sure we let the people know about this side of you, because I think it's really important how you've taken this side of you and really grown that into something, amazing.
Okay. I had a book signing in Seattle, actually. And
for what book?
So the name of my book is To My Future Woman Crush Wednesday. Out of pain. All right, so just to segue all of these things together. the album that we did together, your first EP, was the music was for me out of a place of desperation, or not desperation, but depression.
Mm.
And from that, I was out of a relationship. I was depressed, but I needed to vent. And me like having a therapy session was writing your music.
And you did a hell of a job, brother.
I appreciate you.
That took us a bunch of places.
It really did. And from there, and another couple failed relationships took me to this place where I ended up writing letters to my future wife.
Mm.
Those letters, it was asked of me to put those in a book. And like I said, I never thought about writing a book, but I took those letters and wrote a book and put them in a book as the book. I'm sorry, I'm just stuttering right now. But to my future Woman Crush Wednesday, and yeah, that's where I'm at.
It's okay, man. She had you tongue tied. That's all it was.
This woman that I don't know yet.
She had you tongue tied. Listen, it was her spirit.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, I know, and I've seen, bro. You've been able to tour multiple times off of this book, and I'm sure you've had some very interesting experiences. And, a lot of people love your date stories, and so I just always think that it's so interesting that you can share all these sides of you. You know what I'm saying? And I think what you represent here as a single man in today's world, dealing with everything that we deal with, along with, the pressures of relationship, that you can show all facets of it. And I think it's amazing. So
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
the song for this one.
The song that comes to mind is, I really don't even know. Maybe I don't know why this comes to mind, but
Okay.
Sweet Thing by Shaka Khan.
Sweet Thing. Come on now.
Actually, so not Shaka Khan's version, but Dijon's version. Dijon.
All right. Okay, playlist coming together. What do you like about Dijon's version? Shaka's?
Because he sounds like what I would try and sound like if I was singing the song.
Oh, it's a dude, Dijon. I'm not familiar with Dijon.
And he sounds as though he went through some things. Like Shaka Khan's version sounds very sweet, very, has admiration in it. And his sounds like desperation, like I could love you anyway, but I mean it has like this different, like grimy Jay Dilla type feel to it, and I love it.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to listen to it because like I said, I'm not familiar with that version. So thanks for putting me on, brother.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. So listen, we're gonna move on. Oh, we never came back to that other song. So we had a couple entries here in the which one was that?
We wouldn't. What would you do if you couldn't?
Oh yeah, if you didn't want to see him again, you meet somebody and then you don't want to see him again within minutes. Have you figured anything out yet?
I haven't. I have not.
Here's one, and tell me what you think about this one. This one was from Kadre. Dre said, "I love you, but I don't trust you anymore" by Prince.
Okay. Of course, it's a Prince song from Kadre.
Always. Love you, but don't trust you. Now, we also had another entry into this one, and this was interesting. This one was interesting. Stephanie says, the Gremlins theme song popped up.
The Gremlins theme song?
Gremlins theme song. Okay. I'm going to have to go back and listen to the Gremlins theme song.
Right.
Gremlins.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely look. Gremlins was one of them movies that had me scared as a kid. So.
Yo, listen, if that Instagram post is anything like the date, hey, listen, bro, or it feels like a Gremlins theme, yeah, you definitely gotta
time to go.
Cut your losses. All right, here we go. We moved into now the Q&A portion for these last few minutes. Thank you, everybody, first of all, for just popping in and just being open to receive. And I want to take a second to remind you, if you haven't already, make sure you go over here. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click that button down there. If you haven't jumped in the comments yet, just drop something in there. Let me know how you liking it. If there's something you rock with, you know, let us know what your temperature is. We got a bunch of stuff we've done today. And, you know, much thanks to my brother, Ikechi. And we've now moved into the Q&A portion. So if you have any questions you want to ask either him or myself, excuse me, feel free. If you just got some comments, something you want to get off your chest, jump in here, share it. And I have somebody right now who I'm sure you'll be happy to see. And anyway, we're just going to get right to it. What up, brother?
Hey, what's up? What's up, brother?
What's going on, Doc?
Man, shoot, it's all good. What a way to wind the day down after the events that have taken place.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Man, but
Kadre, what's up, brother?
man, look, I was looking at the news, so I wake up this morning and I see the results that was happening in Georgia. I was
Mhm.
like, yes, dude coming from history, making history. And then I see what's going on in Washington, D.C. And I'm
Mhm.
like, and that almost took me back to the years where I actually visited Washington as a kid. That was during the Reagan years. And I was like, you know what? This is embarrassing. So, yeah. But that's all right. I'm glad that we're winding the day down with this podcast. All right, my brother.
What's good, Doc?
Man, I miss the jam sessions this year.
Yeah, I mean, well, last year. Yeah.
Last year, right.
Man, yeah, last year, yeah, 2020. Man, like hopefully this year we'll all, be able to, get back to some type of normalcy and do the jam session that we normally do, around, at Camonte's house and around Christmas time at Ced's house.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah. But I also want to thank you, Ike, because a lot of times I reflect back to to my birthday party back in 2015 in High Volume.
Okay.
And I thank you for bringing your guys and sharing your musical gifts. That was a wonderful impromptu jam session, man. So
Mhm.
I appreciate that so much, and just thank
No
you for
problem.
sharing your talents, man. So yeah,
Absolutely. Shout out to Aunt Boogie too.
Yeah.
yes, yes, definitely. Shout out to Aunt Boogie, man. And I'll tell you this. I don't know if I told you this, Bellamy, but we went to Los Angeles back in 2013 to the ASCAP music convention, and I was listening to Know You a lot, the whole CD,
Mm, come on now.
the
Come on now.
whole CD, jamming.
Hey, look, it's this brother right here. This brother that you see on the screen, Ikechi.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
That boy sat in a room
yeah,
and played everything.
yeah,
Man.
oh yeah. And shout out to Justin too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Justin was killing, man. Justin did his thing.
Justin, listen, I so appreciate Justin and that combo, man, because
yeah,
it's like it's no egos. It's all about the music,
yeah,
and everybody knows their place.
yeah.
That was one of the most seamless operations ever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, and I had no clue what I was doing.
Well, I
Zero.
tell you this, that album it still gets a lot of play in my Fiat. In my,
Dope.
it's always
Come on,
on
Fiat.
where I go.
That's what's up, man.
You say you got a Fiat now?
Yeah, I've been at the Fiat. I've been at the 2014 Fiat.
I'm still stuck on the what was the
What was the Grand Prix? What was
Grand
that
Prix,
thing?
the silver joint?
Yeah, the Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo. Yeah.
Carlo.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. As soon as I got the Fiat, the Monte Carlo was parked. It was parked at my parents' house until last year. Had it.
Dope.
Boy had every instrument available in that
Bruh,
Monte
Dre
Carlo.
had
He had
a
a
whole
recording
jam
studio in his
Yeah,
Monte Carlo.
Bruh, if Dre kidnapped somebody and threw them in the trunk, they would have an album by the time they get dropped
Like
off.
straight up. Man.
yeah,
But hey man, I appreciate you jumping in, bro.
yeah.
And Anything you want to sign off by saying to Ike?
Man, just continue sharing your gifts. Whether it's music, cooking, books, all of that.
Bro, I
So yeah,
appreciate you, man. Thank you,
oh yeah,
Doc.
because we're all staying connected here. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Appreciate you, brother.
yes sir. Appreciate y'all.
Stick around. Stick around. Yo,
That's crazy.
thank you, man. We've come to the closing time. But this is what I want to do. Um, it's my goal on here on the 6 Degrees podcast, in the spirit of examining all the things that keep us connected and exploring the ties that bind us. Um, I'm gonna start building a visual representation of our connection.
Okay.
So, with that said, is there anyone who maybe you've worked with before, or is there anyone who you hope to work with someday in the far future? Just like your stretch, I
My
want to
further
make music
stretch
with this
I want to
person.
work with. Um, Jill Scott.
Jill Scott, Jilly from Philly. Dope. We're gonna add Jill Scott to this list, and we're gonna see how quickly we can get you working with Miss Jilly from Philly.
And look, yeah, I play tambourine behind her. I don't even care. But
Bro, just to get that call, man.
I'll be right there.
Just think of how much you learn off of that gig.
Whatever I'm allowed to learn, I'll be right there getting it.
Dope, dope. Yo, man, anything else you wanna add before we?
Yeah, man, I want to say that first off, thank you for this interview. I know it's your first show. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you, bro.
Two, bro, as much as you say that you learn from me, I learn from you. We were both learning to become who we are today based off of those days. Like I said, I was in a state of depression. I couldn't think past the next day, but I greatly appreciate you for pushing me to do more and inviting me to do more and inviting me to play. And even when you saw something in me, you told me that, hey, let's do this. I see that. You are amazing at this. And without those words, man, I wouldn't have even tried to do half of the stuff I've been doing, to be honest with you. The reason I have a book and I had a tour is because I saw you do a tour and you just did it, and I was like, that's what I'm about to do.
Yo, it's much easier than people think,
Yeah, man. You make it.
You want to be somewhere, go be there.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
But I love the fact that our relationship has just become what it is, and that we allow each other to be inspired by each other so much.
Definitely.
And that we have this, lovey-dovey, sappy moments, you know what I'm saying, live.
For the whole world out too, though.
Facts. But we have these moments, man, and yo, man, my story can't be told without you. And so that's why you're here right now at this moment. And I love you, brother. I thank you. I appreciate you. And tell the people where they can find you. Shoot out all your socials or anything you got coming up.
My social is everything it's the same on every platform. It's my name, Ikechi. It's spelled Ikechi, last name Ojore. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think I'm on TikTok. I'm pretty sure I'm on Clubhouse. So yeah,
Come on, Clubhouse.
I haven't started a conversation yet, but one day soon.
There we go. Ikechi Ojore. Listen, brother, thank you so much for joining us, man, for the initial episode of the 6 Degrees podcast. If people, if this picks up and catches on, it'll be because of you. And if it doesn't, it'll be because of you.
I'll take that, man. I'll take that blame.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, man.
For sure, man. Be easy.
Please. Yo, just want to say thank you all for tuning in and dropping in the chat. Hopefully I got to all the questions. Yo, listen, we're going to be doing this every week. And next week, we got another special guest. He goes by the name Matthew Hartnett. You may or may not know him, but if you don't, I would advise you to tune in and find out how we maybe even you are connected. Peace.